Hey, welcome back and welcome to part 2 of the Granny Square Bolero tutorial. In part 1, we went over all of the yarn being used for this project. We also made the Daisy Granny Square, which is the granny squares we are going to be using for this project. We also blocked the granny squares. So now that our granny squares are ready, it's time for us to rewind a little bit and go back to how we start connecting the granny square so we can get to this. So to connect the granny squares, we are going to pull the yarn through the middle space where the corner is for one edge of the square and then align the other square, and we are going to chain 3. And we are going to put a slip stitch in the adjacent space of the square right next to it. And we're going to connect in that space with a slip stitch. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I was struggling with this at the beginning because I just could not seem to wrap my head around the slip stitches going in these zigzag directions. I can't tell you why it was so hard, but looking back as I'm watching the video now, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, why are you making this so hard? So basically this stitch is pretty simple. You're just going to make sure that the squares are aligned, and you're basically skipping 2 stitches each time you put a slip stitch in. You're going to chain 3 and then skip 2 stitches on the other square, put a slip stitch in that chain 3, and keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, if that makes sense. So since this was my first time doing this, I am struggling a bit, but I had to do this for 26 granny squares. So as I kept doing it, it got easier and easier. So don't get discouraged if it's a little difficult at first. You're going to get it. Just keep going and keep trying. Go back and fix your mistakes, but just keep going. And this is how it's looking the first go round. And you see it's forming, but the squares are not really aligned correctly. So I had to take it all out and dust myself off and try again. So once you have all of the squares connected, and basically you're just going to connect all of the squares in 2 long lines. That's going to be your front panel and your back panel. So the front panel should have 13 squares and the back panel should have 13 squares. Don't mind this one missing square. I thought I was going to do something different with this at first, but I decided to keep the front and back the same. So now it's time to go ahead and connect the front and the back panels. And so I have my bobby pin stitch markers to show me where I want my neckline to begin and end. And now it's time to connect the front and back panels. So starting where your stitch marker is, we are going to do the exact same thing that we did previously, connecting the squares, going in, just one long line. Now we're connecting the front and the back. So we're actually going to need just a little more space between the squares. So instead of doing a slip stitch and chaining 3 and then doing a slip stitch on the opposite square, we're going to slip stitch and then we're going to chain 5, and then we're going to connect to the opposite square with a slip stitch, chain 5, and then skip 2 chains and do another slip stitch, chain 5, skip 2 chains, and then another slip stitch on the opposite square. So you're going to just do that down the entire length of the bolero sleeve until you get to the last corner. And again, this is my first time doing this and trying to, connect granny squares or anything for that matter in this way. So you see me keep, pulling the hook out, from the yarn to, get it into the right space on the other side. And I'm really doing this to be meticulous because I'm just trying to make sure everything matches up. But again, the more I did it, the more natural it became, and I didn't have to take my hook out of the yarn, you know, to get the slip stitch in every time. So whatever way feels natural to you, do it that way. Just as long as everything is, you know, lined up and even, you know, it doesn't matter how you do it, just as long as it gets done. We're going to repeat the process down both sleeves, leaving the opening for the neck area, and this is what it should be looking like once we finish connecting the front and the back panels. And after I connected the front and the back panels, I realized that I needed a little more length on each panel. So I'm just going to add another row of granny stripe stitches to these granny squares. So we're going to start at the bottom corner of one of your bolero sleeves, and we're going to attach the yarn, and we're just going to chain 3. And I almost forgot right here, but we're going to just chain 3 in that first space, that corner space, and then we're going to go into the next space, and we're going to put the 3 double crochets there, and then we're going to again go to the next space and put 3 double crochets there, just like we're doing the granny square, except we're just not going in the square, we're just going straight across. All right, so we've added an extra row of granny stitches to the bottom of each panel. And so now we just have to sew up the sleeves and leave the opening for the body. So once you've put your stitch markers where you want your sleeves to start and end so that you have your sleeves closed up and your opening for your body, we're going to do a whip stitch. So put the front and back panels together, lined up evenly, and we're just going to pull the yarn through and attach the yarn, and then we're going to just go through and do slip stitches down the entire length of the sleeve that you're sewing up. So here I'm starting in the middle where the opening for the body is, and then I'm working my way down the sleeve, doing the slip stitches, or what they call a whip stitch. And once we get to the other end of the sleeve, we just cut the yarn, tie off, and this is what it's looking like once we have sewn up the sleeves and left the opening for the body. Now, I didn't show the process, but pretty much I have weaved in all the ends of all these granny squares. That was a whole other project in itself. So I flipped the bolero inside out so that the seam where we sewed up the sleeves doesn't show. And now this is where we're going to go ahead and put the border around where the body opening is. So we're going to do the granny stripe stitch, except instead of doing double crochets in each space, we're going to be doing half double crochets because this is a border. So I wanted it to, you know, look a little different than the other stitches. So we're going to be putting 3 half double crochets in each space. Okay, so now I'm at the seam where we sewed the sleeve up, and I mismeasured mine a little bit, so I'm skipping a cluster on each side of the seam, and then go ahead and continue the same pattern I was doing, the 3 half double crochets, you know, in each space. And then once I'm done that, I'm gonna just go back and sew that little piece up so that it'll fit a little better. So sometimes you do have to go back and make adjustments. You know, if you measured a little wrong, that's just all part of the process. You got to trust the process. So now we're back to the first stitch of the row, and again we're just going to skip 2 clusters on either side of the seam, and we're going to connect this with a slip stitch, and then we're done with the border around the body. We just need 1 row of that, and then we're going to just go back and sew up, you know, that little part that we mismeasured, so we'll have a nice fit around the body. And this is how the border looks around the opening for the body, nice and cleaned up with our cloud pack of yarn. And now all we have to do is just sew up those little pieces on each of the sleeves so that we have a nice fit. So you want to turn your bolero back inside out, because you don't want the seam to be on the wrong side. So I just turned the bolero back inside out, and I'm attaching the yarn where you know, I need to start the seam. So I did that and just had to do a few slip stitches or whip stitch until I had that little piece sewn up. And this is what it looks like now that it's all sewn up. So now we're just going to do our neckline border, and it's going to be pretty simple. It's going to just be single crochet in every stitch all the way around, and we're only going to do 1 row of that, 1 round of it. So just connect your yarn, you know, to the corner of the square right in the middle, or right at the seam where your sleeves start. And we're just going to do single crochet in every stitch all the way around. And when you get to the part where the front and the back panel are connected, and there's not a clear stitch to go in, just place the stitches as evenly as possible on both sides. All right, so now we're back at the first stitch, and we're just going to connect with the slip stitch, and that's pretty much it for our neckline border. Our neckline border is now finished, and this is what it looks like, just nice and neat and clean. All right, so now we just have to add our border to the bottom of our sleeve. It's pretty simple. It's just going to be single crochets in every stitch on the way around, but we're going to do 3 single crochets, and then in the 4th and 5th stitch we're going to decrease, and we're going to continue that pattern all the way around. So we're going to do 3 single crochets and then do a single crochet decrease with the 2 stitches, and then 3 single crochets, single crochet decrease. So we're going to do that all the way around, just so we can get a little bit of a tighter fit around the wrist, so it doesn't hang too loosely. And now we're back at the beginning, and we're just going to connect to that first stitch of the row with a slip stitch, and then we are all done our border for the sleeve. And then you're just going to repeat the same thing on the opposite sleeve. And once you weave in all of your ends, you are all done. And here she is. Isn't she lovely? I'm just so happy with the way this turned out. Like, I absolutely love it. And this was something that was so outside of my comfort zone, and I pushed myself, and I'm just really proud of myself. I really love how this turned out, and I just can't wait to wear it. So I styled it with this pink skirt and a white bodysuit that's a tank top, and I really love the look. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Did I crow slay? And If you make this Granny Square Bolero, please let me know, because I want to see your work. I want to see, what you guys create as well. And if you're still here watching, thank you so much. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you. Love you. Bye.